Hey guys, it's Vivi and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to some more scary animations, so let's get straight into it. The first video we're going to be reacting to is called Footsteps in My Home by Onesie Entertainment, so let's get straight into it.
When I was 16 years old, I had this experience with my then girlfriend, Samantha. Samantha lived in a neighboring county and didn't drive, so we rarely saw each other during the school week for any extended period of time, especially alone. We agreed to skip school on Monday to spend time together. Being that it was a Monday, I knew my father and stepmother would be at work, so we'd have the house to ourselves to play video games and just curl up on the couch to watch TV together with no distractions. The house I lived in was located in a suburban-style neighborhood, surrounded by rural countryside and woods. It was a 2-story home with 3 beds upstairs and 1 downstairs, and the entire kitchen area was covered in wood flooring. More on that later. The house also had a security system with sensors on all entry doors and a motion sensor pointed down toward the end of the main hallway beyond the foyer that led out into the kitchen. Samantha and I were upstairs looking through my brother's extensive baseball card collection and playing silly games like Never Have I Ever, when we both heard someone walking around downstairs. Samantha heard it first, then I paused and I heard it too. We both froze. Samantha asked, "Could one of your parents be home?" We sat in complete silence in my room, listening through the open bedroom door. We could hear footsteps in the kitchen, back and forth along the hardwood floor, and the sound of a paper bag ruffling, like the ones used at some grocery stores. The footsteps would progress slowly for several seconds, then stop. A paper bag would ruffle, then proceed for several more seconds, and the pantry door could be heard opening with its all-too-familiar squeak that was unmistakable to me.
See, unmistakable, I could have unmistakably went into your house and thought it was a KFC or a Burger King and brought my own baggie with to your pantry and steal all your food. That's something I would do. Don't call the police on me.
Having lived there, Samantha whispered, "Are they putting groceries away?" I said, "It's got to be my stepmom. She's the only one who does the grocery shopping." My stepmom was far less forgiving than my dad, and being that I was skipping school with a girl in my room alone, I knew I'd be in deep shit if we got caught. Immediately, I told Samantha we needed to crawl out of my bedroom window onto the roof and hide until she left. We sat on the roof facing the street, waiting for nearly 45 minutes, just watching the driveway for my stepmom to leave.
It looks like they're sitting on a skyscraper. Either those houses are tiny or his is absolutely massive. Because from a roof, the other roofs would look like, you know? And theirs is like 5 stories tall. How does that make any sense?
But she never did. And Samantha was getting impatient as it was unbearably hot on the black shingled roof. Finally, I told her to stay put on the roof and keep a lookout a bit longer while I went back inside to confront my stepmom. I told Samantha I'll just tell her I was sick this morning and decided to stay home from school. I had no idea how I would get Samantha out of there, but keep in mind, I wasn't prepared for this, to say the least. As I walked into the kitchen, I called out to my stepmom, but no one replied. My parents' room was also downstairs, so I walked through the room, but no one was there. I proceeded to check every room in the house, but
I am so disappointed that the bed has so much detail and the toilet doesn't. Like, what's more important, your bed or your toilet? That sounds like a really stupid question now that I'm saying it out loud.
to my surprise, the house was completely empty. I even checked the garage, but it was empty. All of the entry doors were closed and locked, and that's when the realization hit me. All of the entry doors beep when they open, including the door leading out to the garage. and neither Samantha nor I heard any doors open, including the garage door, which could be easily heard from my bedroom, as it was directly below. Lastly, I opened the pantry, hoping to cast doubt on this revelation, but I couldn't find a single new item that wasn't in there the night before. A cold chill ran down my spine. I ran upstairs and brought Samantha down from the roof, asking her if she saw anyone come or go. She saw no one. I never believed in ghosts before this day, and honestly, I wish I had a rational explanation for the whole experience. If my girlfriend hadn't been there to witness it with me, then I would probably chalk it all up to my mind playing tricks on me. I never actually saw a ghost, so I can't say for sure what it was, but I can tell you what we heard was real and convincing, to the point that my girlfriend and I never doubted for a second at that moment that it was anything other than a person in my house putting groceries away.
Putting groceries away or taking groceries out? Because look at that lady. She looks like she's like,
where do you keep the snacks? Where is the goldfish? I want snacks.
you know? Like, she looks like the type. Tell me she wouldn't break into your house and steal all of your Doritos. Mom, where did my Oreos go? I don't know. This lady stole it. But hearing footsteps in my home, especially while I'm recording, it is so creepy. And then I think it's just my mind. And then I go back on the recording and you can hear it. And there's nobody in my home. It's creepy, to say the least. Comment down below if you believe in ghosts. The next video is called Five Nights at Freddy's Horror Stories by Horror Shorts Party. So let's get straight into it. The real William Afton incident.
One night, I was supposed to meet my friend James at this pizzeria. It was called Freddy Fazbear's, or something like that. I never heard of it before, but he said it was good, so I agreed to go. Plus, I loved arcade games, and James had promised that it had some of the best in town. I got to the pizzeria a little early, so I stood out front and waited for James to get there. But after about 15 minutes, he still hadn't shown up. I texted him to see how long he would be and got no response. I didn't want to just stand around waiting for him, so I decided to head inside and play some games. I bought some tokens and went over to the arcade. James was right. The place did have some cool stuff. I picked a game that was facing the front so that I could see when James walked in. I wasn't playing for very long when I noticed a really creepy guy across the room. He was extremely tall and slender, and he was wearing a suit.
Slender? You call that okay, you know what? Never mind.
Which I thought was strange for a pizzeria. He had to be pretty old because his hair was thinning, but whatever hair he had left practically grazed the ceiling, he was so tall. He literally looked like the Slender Man. What was worse, though, is that it looked like the man was staring at me. He had this really creepy smile on his face, and I could swear he was looking right at me.
You'll make an excellent animatronic. I bet that's what he's thinking.
He was standing pretty far away, though, so I thought I might be imagining things. But the longer I stayed at the game, the more it seemed like the guy was watching me, and he never lost that weird smile. I assumed that he must have some kid near me that he was actually watching, so I just moved to another arcade machine to get away from him. When I got there, I checked to see if the guy was still watching me, and I was disturbed to find out he was. He had completely turned around to face my direction, and he was still staring at me. I was pretty freaked out, but I tried to ignore him and play the game. I didn't want to seem scared, but it was hard not to look a little shaken. No matter what I did, the man continued to stare at me while smiling. I again relocated to another machine, but when I looked up, the man was still staring at me. He had even moved to get a better view. I texted James to hurry the hell up, and then moved to another machine again. I just wanted to get away from the man, but no matter where I went, I kept getting stared at by him. I didn't know if he was an employee, a customer, or someone's dad, but he was creepy as hell. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to complain, but the man was standing so far away from me. It wasn't like he was harassing me or taking pictures or something. I had no choice but to go along with it and get stared at. I wanted to leave, but I didn't want to just abandon James. He was so late, though. I had no idea where he was. I felt extremely uncomfortable and scared as shit. I wanted to take a piss so badly because I was petrified of the man. But I forced myself to hold it in because I was sure the man would have followed me into the bathroom. I texted James again to hurry. Where the hell are you? I played for a bit longer, but I was not enjoying the game whatsoever. I could feel the man's eyes on me. Anytime I turned to look at him, he had the exact same expression, the same creepy smile.
Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry.
I didn't know what he wanted with me. Maybe he was just trying to freak me out. Or maybe it was something worse. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I texted James that I was leaving and started walking toward the door. I looked behind me to make sure the man wasn't following me, and he wasn't there. Somehow not seeing him was even creepier than him staring at me. I spun all around trying to find him, but he was gone. I felt somewhat relieved and started to leave again. Then, out of nowhere, the man appeared from behind an arcade machine and charged at me. I tried to run, but he was too quick. He grabbed me
He looks like a titan now.
by the shoulders and started yelling at me with his face an inch away from mine. Stop looking at me! Okay. I broke free from his grasp and ran out of the building. I immediately started sprinting home. I ran as fast as I possibly could. But then I was grabbed from behind by giant hands. I was being carried and dragged while the man's giant hands suffocated my face. He then tied my hands behind my back and gagged me with something. Then he threw me in the back of some van by the parking lot. I couldn't believe what was happening. I started crying and trying to scream for help through my gag, but it was no use. The van pulled away with me inside it. As I tried to sit up, I noticed that there were 4 other people in the truck with me, all of them tied up as well. Then I saw that one of them was James. It finally hit me that we were all being kidnapped. The sight of my friend in there with me made me even more horrified. I started panicking and screaming even louder. The others joined me. All of us hoped that maybe, just maybe, someone would hear us.
Oh, don't look at me like that. Oh, stop looking at me like that. Look away.
This story was inspired by William Afton, who is also known as the Purple Guy from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. The storyline is that Afton is a serial killer responsible for the murder of a dozen individuals over the period of about a decade, and just so happens to be the founder of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
The rest of the video will be in the description down below. For those of you who already know the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, I'm saving you an entire break. Those of you who don't, video's down in my description. The next video we're going to be watching is called Scariest School Reunion by IMR Scary Tales.
When I was 37, I went to my high school reunion. I flew to the nearest airport and rented a car. The distance was about 35 miles through a very rural and almost abandoned part of the country. Guarded by dense forest, the road was pretty rocky. There was no light except my car headlights. After about 3 miles, I saw a man standing on the side of the road. He was gesturing for me to stop. Beside him, a car was parked with its trunk open. Generally, I don't stop, but it was actually my friend Henry. I stopped my car right next to him.
What is wrong with Henry? He looks like he's seen some stuff. He looks like he's been through a lot, and he's been standing out there for 3 days straight without any food or water and a hairbrush or a shower. Somebody get help for Henry.
And asked, "Henry, so good to see you, man. Car trouble?" Yeah. Mind if I come with you?" He looked really scared, and he was constantly staring behind himself into the deep woods. Bro, you alright? Is someone there?" "What? No. Come on, let's go." As he was getting into my car,
Skinwalker.
I heard a sound coming from the same direction where Henry was frighteningly looking at moments ago. Wait, what's that sound? I tried to listen carefully. "Just drive!" Henry screamed at me and grabbed my hand on the steering wheel. He was shaking in fear. His eyes saw something that he definitely wanted to forget. I pressed the accelerator and drove away. The party was held on the basketball court. Upon reaching, everyone started to come and talk to each other. Some were happy to see each other, some weren't. "I'm going to the washroom, okay?" Saying this, Henry went towards the washroom. I grabbed a drink and was enjoying the party when I saw one of my other old classmates, Gary, coming toward me. He stopped.
Why did everyone see something that we didn't see? Like Gary. How's SpongeBob doing, by the way? But anyway, why are you sweating so much? You're literally sweating profusely. I can feel raindrops, or rather sweat drops, on my shoes.
Right in front of me and started yelling.
Stop the party! Stop it!
Hey, what's the matter?
It's Henry!
Henry? What happened to Henry?
His body had been discovered in the woods near the highway. The cops said Henry had been stabbed 15 times. No, that's not possible. What the hell are you saying? The cops found his punctured car on the highway. Seems like his attacker trapped him and lured him into the woods and then killed him. I dropped the glass on the floor and rushed to the washroom. Henry came to the party with me. There's no way what Gary's saying is true. The washroom was empty. "Henry? Henry!" I kept saying his name. Suddenly, my eyes went to the mirror on my left and I saw him. Henry was looking at me from the top of an open bathroom stall. I could see his head floating above the stall, and the stall was more than 8 feet tall. In the reflection of the mirror, Henry smiled and then his face vanished in the thin air. The hair on my body stood up as I realized what the sounds from the woods meant when I met Henry. It was Henry's killer stabbing him in the distance. I still don't know if it was Henry's spirit or if the entire thing was my hallucination, but the story gets even creepier from here. 1 week later, Gary called me. "The cops found Henry's killer." "They did? Good. I hope that freak rots in jail." "He won't." "What do you mean he won't? He killed Henry. What other reason?" "The guy was found dead." "What?" I couldn't speak after that. Gary went on to say that the man's name was Warner. He was a drug dealer as well as a notorious thief. The night he killed Henry, he ran away into the woods to escape the cops. But the next morning, the cops found him dead in the creek. Do you think Henry took his revenge?
That is actually, like, I didn't know what to say throughout that. Like, do you guys think it's Henry's spirit? Like, I thought maybe it was like the attacker and he just conveniently looked like Henry. Or he's like a skinwalker.
Like, pretended to be Henry. There's so much that could have gone into that. Like, what could it have been? And how did he die? Like, maybe he didn't kill Henry at all, and Henry was there. But then he started hallucinating after he heard that Henry was dead. But Henry wasn't dead. It was the attacker that was dead.
And then Henry killed the attacker. Okay, you know what? I'm not making any sense. The last video we're going to be watching today is called Food Delivery Night Shift Horror Stories by Mort. So let's get straight into it.
A couple of years ago, I was hanging out with my friend. It was a Friday night, and I was a senior in high school at the time. My parents were gone, and my friend Riley was over at my house. We ordered a pizza at probably between 8 and 9 p.m. I know that it was dark outside, and we were both really hungry. We were just in my parents' living room, talking and watching something on TV. We were the only people home at the time. The neighborhood my parents live in is pretty nice. It's not super wealthy or anything, but it's known to be very safe. I knew many of the neighbors, and I had never known of anything bad to happen there. So about 20 minutes after we ordered the pizza, there was a knock at the front door. I got up and walked to the front door and opened it. It was the pizza delivery guy, and he had the pizza with him. I got it and paid the guy, but before he left, he said something to me that was odd. He said that he didn't know if I knew this or not, but he saw a guy hiding in the bushes on the side of our house. I said that I was not aware of it. The pizza guy then said that he just wanted to let me know, and then he left. I didn't really know what to make of this.
I mean, what would you make of it? The pizza delivery man is like, "Hey, yo, there's someone peeping in your bushes. Do you know about that?" "No, I do not." "Well, I just wanted to let you know. Someone in your bushes. Okay, bye-bye." What are you supposed to do? "Thank you. I'll go get my shotgun and go protect myself."
Walked back into the living room and set the pizza down. I told Riley about what the pizza delivery guy said. Both of us decided to go and check. First, we went to the side of the house from the inside. We walked over to my brother's bedroom, which had a window that looked out to that side of the house.
Just walking to the window with my shotgun. I hope nobody's there because I have a shotgun. So you guys need to prepare better.
Brother was gone, so it was empty. When we looked out of the window, we couldn't really see anything though. It didn't have a great view, and if there was a man hiding there, he would still be out of sight. Then we both left the house and walked outside. We used the flashlights from our phones to shine them down to the side of the house when we got there. We did have several large bushes that would be fairly easy to hide in. When we shined over the bushes though, we didn't see anybody. I didn't want to go right up to them and look though. I got a little bit closer and shined the light again. I could see much better now and didn't see anybody. I felt confident enough that if the man was still hiding there, I would have either seen him or he would have moved. After that, we both went back inside. It was a really weird thing. I had never known anything like that to happen around the neighborhood before. We tried thinking of potential reasons for a person to be there at this hour, but I couldn't think of any. We tried our best to forget about it now that we thought whoever it was probably now gone.
Why did they make him look like a distinguished gentleman? Like he looks like every other office worker. Why not make him look creepy?
Just to be safe though, we decided to get up and make sure that the back door was locked and no windows were left open or anything. The back sliding door, which led to the patio, was unlocked, so we locked it, but all the windows were shut. Afterwards, we had the pizza and watched TV for probably the next 20 minutes or so. Everything was going fine, and we started to forget about the guy. But that was when we both saw somebody pass by the living room window really quick. Both of us saw just the end of it and didn't get a good look at the person. But somebody was out there. It was really creepy. We both got up and went over to the window and looked out. We couldn't see the guy anymore though. He had disappeared either behind a tree or another bush, or to one of the sides of the house. I wasn't quite sure what to do. Would he actually leave, or should we call the police on him? Riley and I stood around the living room with our eyes fixed on the front window. That's when we heard the noise of the back sliding door starting to open, but it stopped due to the door being locked. We couldn't see it from where we were, but we both walked over to where we could get a view. By then, whoever was there was not in sight. I turned on the back light, which was for the patio, and had been off. When it went on, just for a second, we both saw the man running away. He disappeared behind a few trees and was headed towards the direction of our next door neighbor's backyard. Whoever this guy was who was prowling around was up to no good. We just hoped that he wouldn't come back. My parents...
That with the sliding door reminded me of a story that my aunt told me a few years back. I always used to sit in their work office room where their PC was, and I used to sit there and watch YouTube videos when I was younger. And then one night when we went over to visit, she showed us something against the window, and it was literally an imprint of somebody's hands and nose and mouth pressed against the glass, like somebody was trying really hard to see inside. And it was just so creepy because I used to sit there all alone in that room, and it's not really an easy room to run away from in case something breaks in, because the PC was right here and the window was right here, and then there was a little desk here, so I had to go all the way around if I wanted to exit. So that just kind of freaked me out when I was younger, and this just reminded me of it.
Parents got back home only about 15 minutes later. We told them everything, and for the rest of the night we were on high alert, but I don't think the guy ever came back. He must have run off for good that last time. I really don't know what he was doing though, but the one thing I do know is that I'm really glad that we locked that sliding door, or else the guy would have been inside the house with us.
I love the way he runs. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, it's free, you can always change your mind later, and I will see you next time. Bye!